Hey everybody, it's Eric here. It's been quite a few weeks since my last video. I've only just returned from my Bucks trip in Malaysia and Japan. I had an awesome time. I'd recommend Japan to anybody. And thank you so much to my friends and especially to Nia for organizing that trip for me. I just had such a good time. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Now, today I wanted to return to my Change in an Instant video series. I wanted to share another really profound experience with you guys that has helped shape my life and put me on this journey. In my last Change in an Instant video, at the end I asked you guys to have a bit of a think about the different areas in your life that you decided to be unchangeable. Hopefully you guys gave it some thought, at least at the time. I know it's been quite a few weeks since that video. Now, for me, one of the most challenging problems of my life, and has been since my young childhood, is my relationship with my parents. As most of you guys know, my parents divorced when I was quite young, about 7, and it was quite difficult for me to adjust. Like I said in my other videos, I was without want or need. Don't get me wrong, I got to see my dad every week and we had a pretty good relationship. But the thing is, we weren't able to communicate well, my father or my mother with myself. We weren't able to communicate well together. And I had blamed it on the communication barrier, the language barrier, sorry. It is true, my Cantonese is conversational at best, but I had all these reasons to accept why I didn't open myself up to them or try to engage with them, and I'm sure they had a lot of their own issues and why they were not able to engage with me. Now, after Emily's birth, like I said, I questioned my reality based on that experience. And one of the things that I realized was I no longer wanted to have my relationship with my parents as it is. I wanted to be open with them. I wanted to be more friendly with them. I wanted them to understand me better. And though that was what I wanted, I really didn't know what to do. I know, again, like I said in my last video, it seemed as easy as just do it, just open up, just communicate. But as you all know, when it's some of that deep-seated problems that stem from within and from your childhood, it's really difficult to muster the courage to engage and just take action. So I was quite lost. I had the desire, but I was quite lost at what to do. And one day, my good friend Julie, Ted and David said to me that they had just participated in a seminar, a self-help, self-development seminar called the Landmark Forum. Now, I want to make it very clear that I'm not asking you guys to do it. I'm not marketing for them or selling it to you. All I'm saying is that that is what I participated in. It was really beneficial to me, and hopefully I can pass on an experience or a lesson to you guys that might help you go on your own journey, whatever that may be. Now, at the Landmark Forum, the format basically is that you're in a room with a whole bunch of people. There was probably about 100 different people, and they teach you different principles about thinking, about different ideas about thinking and behavior and so on. And then they ask for people to come up and share their different experiences and see how they can apply what they've just learned into those different experiences. And one of the two lessons that I got from the Landmark Forum that really changed my life, first off, was the idea that that internal dialogue that you have, that voice in your head, is not really you. The interpretations that you make is not really you. Those are just born from the different conditionings and the different ideas that you've been exposed to and your environment. And it's not really truly who you are. It's not your true authentic self, as they would say. And what really ingrained this idea into me, because I'll admit I have heard that idea before, but what really ingrained it into my consciousness was the fact that when people got up and talked about their different problem areas, I found myself, and I saw other people as well, thinking, how is it possible that you can't see the reality of your situation? How can you not see the truth that you're being irrational, or they were being irrational, or it's not such a big deal? That kept coming up time and time again. And when it finally dawned on me that, yeah, you know what, everyone has their own problems, and everybody does allow that internal dialogue to interpret reality in their own way. You can have one situation where 10 different people interpret completely in a different manner. They all have different perspectives. The really great example that they used during the forum was if your husband came home one night with flowers and said to you, "Oh, I want to talk to you later," what do you think it means? And all these people put their hand up, and they all had different ideas. And what was important was that they had different perspectives and ideas to what I came up with straight away. And this made me realize that, yes, you know what? We might be interpreting what the outcomes of different things are all the time. And they're not necessarily the reality of the situation. They might not necessarily come true. And when I realized that, they encouraged us for homework to speak to somebody that you have some issue with, or you have something that you haven't cleared up with. Now, I decided to speak to my dad and my mum. I thought I'd just surrender to the idea, jump in the deep end, and just have a go, speak to them. The environment fostered that supportive feel, and I felt the courage to do it. Doing it with Judith also helped immensely because she was there to push me and guide me. So when I spoke to my mum, I must admit, as I approached the door, I was shaking with fear. I literally was shaking with fear. My breath was heavy, I was hyperventilating, and I couldn't believe that I was going to do it. But because I had gone through, this whole couple of days of learning and, that supportive environment, I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to test what I learned and not just interpret or put meaning behind what I think may happen. So I knocked on the door, I went to see my mum, and basically I just let go and unleashed everything that I had bottled up inside, all the things that I thought about the situation, how I regretted doing certain things or not doing certain things, and what I thought about the whole situation with the divorce. I let it all out and just basically poured my heart out to my mum and my dad, and I told them how I wanted to change the dynamic of our relationship. And I kid you not, their reaction was definitely not one that I expected. I thought that my mum would be completely angry, or my dad would be, he wouldn't understand. He would not be very understanding. I thought that they will accuse me of, going to a cult or being brainwashed or whatever. But my words fell on sympathetic ears, and I want to point out that it doesn't always. When Judith did it, it didn't fall on quite sympathetic ears. But for me, it fell on sympathetic ears. And my dad actually said to me, I'm so glad that you are able to say this, because I think that you've really matured and grown up now at this moment. And that was amazing to me, because that pointed out that, yeah, you know what? In my mind, I had this horrible scenario and outcome, but the reality did not happen like that at all. And even though there was some anger and some negativity during our conversations, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. My reaction to it wasn't as bad, even though perhaps my mum did fulfill some of my expectations regarding the negativity about the divorce and about my dad. How I reacted to it, how I would feel about it, wasn't as I thought it would be. And that moment really changed my life. It made me realize that, you know what? I can't let fear grip me. This is what fear does to you. This is, like I said in my previous video, what your brain tries to do to you. Tries to trick you and fool you into believing that you need to stay in your safe zone. I'm going to be making some videos regarding the scientific side behind cognitive biases, brain biases, and this idea of internal dialogue. It's not all going to be abstract and spiritual, and I look forward to making those videos with you guys. I'm trying to keep my videos much shorter, so hopefully you enjoyed what I had to say today. Until my next video, my friends.